Start. Start.
Hi, Professor, and we are group five, and we have five members. And guys, please say hello to Professor.
Hey
Hello,
everyone,
everyone.
Professor.
And today in group project A presentation, our group are going to talk about to compare two systems, DSS, Decision Support System, and EIS, Executive Information System. And we will move on for six aspects: components, functions, types, benefits, and drawbacks, examples, and the last one is impacts. And for introduce the first DSS system, we'll start from Brett.
All right, thank you so much, Lee, for introducing me. So my name is Faraz Syed, and I'll be taking over. And I hope you really enjoy our presentation. So let's get started. So there are two different types of information systems: decision support system and executive information system. But I'll be talking about decision support system more in detail. So let's say you have a lot of data to process. And from that data, you want to gather the insights that you need in order to make the decisions that can help your organization succeed in the goals that you may have. In order to take certain decisions and utilize those decisions to find out what's the best decision of them all. Let's say, a lot of times you also would want to evaluate those decisions. So what decision support system does it? It comes into practice when it comes to this. You can enter a lot of data, you can get your variables and everything else processed, and you will have the information that you need in order to make the right decisions. For example, if you're working in the sales department, or if you're working in in operations department, if you're in the sales department, you would want to know more about sales projections or how better your product is doing, and what changes you will have to make in order to make it more appealable to the customers. And when you're working in the operations department, you will have to understand how you will have to put the planning procedures and how you are going to divide your resources and your employees into different tasks and the tasks that you want to give them and everything else. So it'll help you go through these type of things in different organizations. This is not just the limit of DSS. DSS is the peak when it comes to decision making in different departments in different organizations. And if you are a manager and you want to make a crucial decision in your life, DSS can be very helpful for you. So I'd like to move ahead with the next slide, where I would like to explain the components of DSS. So DSS has three different components: knowledge-based components and software component, and the user interface component. The knowledge-based component is more about the finance that stores all the information that you need from the external sources, the internal sources, and everything else that can help you make the decision, that can help evaluate and analyze this data to get to the point of decision making. And for that, you need the next component, which is the software. Now, this is a very important component that I would like to talk about. Like, for example, I'll give you an easy example of Excel. Like, for example, uh, you would you have a lot of data that is input in Excel, and now you want to get some decisions. Now, it's obvious that you will enter some formulas in order to get to that point of decision making. Now, now this whole thing comes into the aspect of the software, and also it's more about how it's processing the entire data to help you make that decision by giving you precise values that you may need, or the decisions that you may want to take that it's providing. So it varies from software to software. Now, when it comes to the user interface is basically what you're seeing in front of your screen. Like, for example, the Excel application is there, and there's cells, there's rows, there's columns, and everything else, and there's the ribbon upside, and there's everything. So that this whole thing, the visual component of the software is basically the user interface. Now I'd like to move forward and talk more in detail about the functions of the decision support system. Now, the primary function of the decision support system is to facilitate and help the senior executives in decision making and help them in the decision making needs. But this is not just it. There are more. There's more to it. So basically, it helps you drill down and query capabilities, and it helps you monitor your performances. It helps you, gather the external data and integrate it into the system that can help you make good decisions. And it also helps you build a summarized report. That's a summary of all your decisions and a summary of your data and everything else that you may need. Because the thing is, like, when you're processing a lot of data, you'd obviously want to see data in a simplified and easy to understand manner. And it's obvious that a human brain cannot process all that data at once. So a decision support system comes into the picture by making all these things simplified for us in an easy to understand manner. So that's how it works. Now, I would like to move forward and talk about the types of decision support systems. Now, when it comes to the types of decision support systems, there are 5 different types of decision support systems. So basically, you have your communication-driven decision support system. There's a model-driven decision support system. There's a knowledge-driven decision support system. There's a document-driven decision support system. And you also have your data-driven decision support system. So I would like to explain more in detail about each one of these types because it's really, really important for us to understand and to be able to differentiate between different types of decision support systems. So basically, I'd like to start with the communication-driven decision support. Let's say you have a team that's working with you on a project, and every single one of you wants to input your views that can help us take the right decision. Now, let's say we have a lot of services that offer these types of, these types of, the thing that we can use to input data and everything. Like, for example, we have like Word, we have SharePoint, you have like PowerPoint, we have Excel. We can share these files with our teammates, and we can collaborate with them that can help us make decisions. So like every single person can input their data and their information, and we can collectively take a decision. It's more like that. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about is model-driven decision. Now, when it comes to model-driven decision making, you have like, for example, if a person is working in quant finance, or if you are working in like complex tasks where you need to have a certain procedure to follow. Like, for example, in order to clean data, process it, and everything else, it's obvious that you will have to make a certain model. You can't keep inputting formulas over and over again. You can just input the data and you'll just get the result. So that's like building a model. Building a model will take your data, process it, and give you the result that you need, whether it's right or wrong. And this works differently across different applications. It works differently in Excel. It works different than like different applications that you might be using. So it depends from application. Then there's knowledge-driven decision support system. It stores your rules, your facts, procedures, flow charts. Now, this is very important. A lot of times you wanna do your A/B testing. You wanna know your yes or no analysis. Like you wanna go to different structures and procedures and like to see which procedure is failing, which procedure is working fine, and like how you have to like if there's a process that you would like to revisit again to fix it. So that's more about the knowledge-driven decision support system. And then there's also a document-driven decision support system. It helps in managing unstructured information in electronic formats. Like it helps you process that unstructured information and makes it easy to understand. So, and then there's data-driven decision support system that helps companies in storing and analyzing data. Like, for example, you have Microsoft Access that helps you store all this information and helps you process it. That's a data-driven decision support system that stores all the data, and you will have to have a knowledge of using that specific software. Now, I would like to move forward with the next slide, which is the benefits of the decision support system. So as you can see it on the screen, decision support system is time efficient. It helps you save time that is required to take crucial decisions by minimizing the errors and the time that you would need to make that decision. by all the information that it processes, and like it simplifies all the tasks that we do. And then it also helps you in planning and management by offering precise plans to implement procedures based on data in a simple and easy to understand manner for professionals. Like, for example, you don't need to have a lot of coding knowledge, or you don't need to have the knowledge about certain things and everything else, but just like it helps you summarize data and helps you, it processes the data and gives you the decisions that you need to understand in a simplified manner. Like, for example, um, there's graphical, graphical displays and everything else. There's charts, there's graphs and everything else. Like, just like we talked about in the LinkedIn learning assignment that we did recently, and like how, flow charts, and like, graphs and, these scatter plots and everything else helps managers, even with the minimal knowledge, see the progress and help them make decisions in the best interest of the company. It's more about that. And it also, additional support system will also help you evaluate the current trends, the past trends, and the information to make educated predictions about how a decision can impact the organization or the client. Now, this is very important if you are taking a very critical decision, and this can impact your business as well as the client's business. Now, you want to understand how these decisions can impact your client, and you would want to take a decision that goes well. I mean, like that's the best decision. So this will help you evaluate and understand those decisions better in a better format. Like there are different ways to do it. Like there's a what if analysis that you can take, and there's different ways you can go about it. There's a what if analysis as well, where you can see how taking one decision that works fine, and there's another decision that also works fine, but you can quantify those decisions and see like what decision works best, which is the best and the optimal decision that you could make. Now, I would like to move forward in this presentation, and I would like to invite one of our colleagues, Suman Thapa, to take over this presentation to explain more in detail about the drawbacks of decision support systems. Suman, here you go.
Thank you, Faraz. That was a good insight on DSS. I'd like to continue the presentation with some drawbacks that DSS has. Starting off with the cost factor here. DSS can be an expensive thing to develop, not only to develop, but here to implement and maintain the system also requires a lot of cost. So it is less, let's say it's less accessible to smaller organizations. The dependency factor is the second I would like to discuss. At times, what happens is in business, it's mostly about the data and facts, but sometimes the human element and subjectivity needs to be in the business. So at times, like Faraz explained, in every department, DSS has this huge role that it plays in decision making, and sometimes dependency on the system can have a little impact where human element or subjectivity is required. The third one is security. Security is very important. DSS utilizes a lot of sensitive data. Thus, it requires a strong data security, and again, strong data security refers to involvement of good costs. So it again increases the cost of the implementation or development of the system, which impacts the smaller to medium scale organizations. The last one I'd like to discuss is the data quality. Sometimes DSS may produce misleading or erroneous results. And if the data is incorrect, incomplete, or outdated at times, or inconsistent, sometimes the decision making can be flawed. To get a deeper understanding of the system with wonderful examples, I'd like to welcome Umar to take over the presentation.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you, Faraz, for explaining in such a manner that I don't think any further explanation would be needed to explain DSS. Let me come to the example that will show how DSS helps any and every organization in making decisions in a way that if DSS weren't used, it would be difficult. Now, Formula One, I don't know if everyone is well versed with Formula One. Formula One is a racing sport. And when it comes to racing in Formula One, it is highly data oriented because decisions made within split seconds can impact the whole race. From winning to losing, the decisions are to be made within split seconds. The difference between winner and first and the second sometimes is only hardly few fractions of seconds. So I will give an example of an event which happened in 2019, where the decision support system of Mercedes F1 AMG team helped the team in converting their second place into the first place. Let's continue with a video.
If we call that, it needs to be really last minute. Yeah, I think you're going to do it now. If you want to do it, it's now or never. We are going to do this. Look. We are going to do this. Yeah, it's box. Do the opposite to stuff. You need to call it incredibly late. Roger. I want you to stay sitting down. It's down by red. Stay sitting down by red. In the pit lane, guys. In the pit lane. Box opposite the start. Box opposite the start. So he's committing then to the two-stop strategy and putting in this lap's gonna be hungry all over again here.
This one simple decision. In a race, every car needs to stop at least once to change the tire. Because the race is so long, the tires generally they wear out. This one simple decision of Mercedes F1 team led it to convert their second place into first place. And as said by Michael Taylor, the IT director of Mercedes team, Michael says that over the course of one race weekend, we can generate more than 7 billion data points. Imagine the amount of data that is being processed, and without decision support system, making such split decisions would be impossible. And you could see that race principal, race director, the engineer, the race engineer, everyone was communicating. Everyone had access to the data, and everyone had decision support system helping them making decision on when to stop, when to change tires, when to convert your second place into first place. This is why we selected to explain decision support system. It is being used in all kinds of organizations and races. Now, moving forward, I would like to invite Suman to explain executive information system in detail. Continue, Suman.
Thank you so much, Omar. Thank you so much. I'd like to again continue with the other system that we are discussing. It's EIS, in Executive Information System. So like you see in the screen, the pyramid that we have shown here is shows that you can see on the bottom the TPS at the base. This is the transaction processing system. This system handles basic data. As you see, when it moves from below to the top, comes the office support system, which provides tools to day-to-day operations, to the management information system, which summarizes and report key information. Then comes the decision support system, which Faraz explained in detail, which assists with complex decision making. And the one that I'm about to explain further, with the benefits, the drawbacks, the components, the functions, is the executive information system, which is at the top. The senior executives need to make strategic decisions. For them to make the informed decisions, they rely on summarized information from all the lower levels that you see in the figure. Um, To describe EIS in a very simple words, it is a tool that helps the top executives in a company make important decisions. Uh, it provides the top levels with simplified data by using charts, summaries, reports, where the top executives can quickly see the trends, spot problems, and make informed strategic decisions in the company. Moving ahead with the next slide, I'd like to discuss the components of EIS. The components of EIS, here I'd like to discuss about the database, the executive knowledge base, user interface, and the hardware. So the database is, it stores the huge amount of data, not only the internal data, but EIS stores the external data too, which I will be explaining in the further point. The second one is executive knowledge base. It is a specialized data archive that contains rules, best practices done in the future, and the previous decisions that the executive can go through before making the decisions. So these help decision makers make informed decisions, seeing the past, analyzing the present, and predicting the future. The third one is user interface. So this is the part where the executives actually interact with the system. So the EIS is supposed to the EIS user interface is supposed to be, it needs to be intuitive. It needs to be very straightforward, meaning it needs to be effectively, efficiently accessed by executives who might not have specialized technical skills too. And the last one is hardware, where it refers to the devices and infrastructures that is required to run the system. Now, I'd like to further discuss about the functions of executive information system, which will give us the broad view of what and how the executive system works. The basic function, the primary function of EIS is to facilitate and support the senior level executive information system that we looked upon from the diagram earlier. Apart from this, EIS has other major important functions like drill down and query capabilities. The EIS provides an ability to drill down in more detailed data when required. For example, I'd like to give you a real life example. If a CEO notices a drop in the profit, then he or she can drill down to see like which departments' cost have increased. So it gives like an overview of the department-wise decisions. Like Faraz explained earlier, each department will have various decisions going on, but the top level needs to see all the decision making that is happening in the various departments. The other one is performance monitoring. Here, EIS tracks various departments functioning with previously set goals, whether it is meeting the requirements or not. For example, a sales director can monitor quarterly sales goals by region and improvise strategies based on underperforming areas. The other one is external data integration. Like I mentioned earlier, the IES database not only integrates the internal data, but it also stores and integrates the external data. For example, for advertising, for a marketing manager to develop a advertising strategy, he or she needs to analyze the market trends, the consumers' behavior, the position of the competitors, and other stuff. So integrating the external data is also done here. And lastly, it summarizes the reports. Here, EIS provides sophisticated summaries of key performing indicators in a simple and straightforward manner for people of without technical backgrounds also can understand. To further understand about the benefits and drawbacks, I'd like to invite Max to take on the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now I'm going to talk about the benefits of EIS. Executive information systems brings significant benefits to organizations. There are 5 benefits of it. First, information collection becomes faster and more accurate, enabling business to gather external data like computer information quickly, saving time and cost. Second, EIS enhances management support by improving resource planning and allocation, which helps optimize productivity. Third, it provides organization support by simplifying workflows and avoiding redundancy, helping everyone stay aligned with goals and make sure everyone rowing in the same boat. For executives, EIS offers better decision making by reducing the time needed to make choice during emergencies. Last but not least, EIS strengthens leadership by improving communications between departments, allowing smoother coordination and collaboration. However, some may argue that while EIS brings this advantage, it's important to think about human cost, such as time and the training required for employees to adapt to the system. Moreover, they might face change fatigue. It means when people get used to a system, it's hard for them to learn a new system. They might feel fatigue to change. So to get this benefits, business companies need to figure out this problem not even for DSS but also for EIS. And now my teammates will continue to talk about the drawbacks.
Thank you, Max. And now I'm going to talk about the drawbacks of executive information system. The first drawback is high cost on implement. Implementing on EIS can be very expensive, the same as DSS, because it requires a lot of investment in hardware, software, training, and ongoing support, and it makes a significant financial commitment for companies. And the second drawback is unstable accuracy. The effectiveness of EIS depends on the quality of data. So if the data used is inaccurate or incorrect, it can lead to a poor decision making and or lead to high risks or failures. And the third drawback is it needs strong security. EIS often handles sensitive and confidential information for a company, so it requires strong security measures to prevent unauthorized access and to protect the data, important data. And the last drawback is it requires users like executives, their techniques and process. They have to know how to use the system effectively, and it will take a lot of time. Additionally, the technology changes rapidly, so they have to keep adapting to the new tools and processes. Otherwise, it will slow down the productivity and create barriers to the successful use of EIS. And next, my teammate Umar will introduce the last part.
Yes. Now, as explained for DSS, we also have taken a specific example of Walmart that uses specifically in-house developed executive information system. Walmart being one of the largest brick and mortar retailers in the world and one of the fastest growing organizations in US. Walmart has billions of databases which needs to be analyzed and put together and given in a form that executives can make decision. Because of the improved executive information system of Walmart, Walmart recently decided, the executives of Walmart recently decided to expand their field, expand horizontally by increasing their logistics department and introducing new and improved efficient logistics. This was all possible by the executive information systems, which was developed by Walmart. That is why we thought Walmart would be a good example. And we have also mentioned a few more details in our paper, which you guys can go through and understand. Coming to the point, why and what impact does decision support system and executive information systems have? Firstly, to go off the topic, I would like to explain that DSS and EIS both seem as if they are helping to make decisions, but as clearly explained by Suman earlier, there is a level. DSS is below executive information system. And both of these, the way they impact any organization or any information systems in the information systems industry is they help in improved decision making. They also help in enhancing the productivity. They help in aligning the goals and strategies. I think all of these you must have been able to conclude while we were explaining this. These are the impact that DSS and EIS create. And lastly, which is the ultimate goal that I think most business organizations want, is to improve their return on investment. Coming to the significance of this and why we selected this is DSS and EIS are not the systems that came in market today or last year or recently. Decision support system and executive information systems were being used since the beginning of computer systems or even before that. The process of collecting data, analyzing that, and using that analyzed information to make decisions was being done even before computers. But when computers came in, storing and analysis of data was much easier. So decision support system and executive information systems, both operating at separate levels of organization, they were being used even when computers looked like this, as you can see in the left side of the screen. And moving forward to today and in future, these two systems will always remain prevalent. This is why we thought that we should analyze DSS and executive information system, because they prevail and they are all pervasive. That is why we selected this. Coming with this, I would like to conclude our presentation and thank my colleagues and all of you for listening. And thank you. We have provided references and thank you so much.